and Mama just swatted him upside the head with a hot frying pan full of sizzling. Welcome back to the Left and Right podcast. Today we're going to be reading some spooky stories. So we're starting off with some spooky news from NewsWeek. A family move into a new house. Chills at message found scratched inside closet. It says a homeowner endured a few sleepless nights after discovering an unsettling message scratched into the back of a closet in her 1920s home. Madeline Jones and her family moved into their new home in Arlington, Massachusetts, a year ago, but didn't notice anything was amiss until she recently began reorganizing her clothes. That was when she saw the chilling 15-word message written in the back. It's in the back of probably a 3-foot-plus closet, scratched into the contact paper. Jones told Newsweek, "It totally creeped me out." I bet it creeped you out. This really happened.
That's real?
Yeah, this is a real story. This is an article from Newsweek.
Huh.
Etched crudely into the wood at the back of the vintage piece of furniture were the following words: A red river clogs my eyes as I slide down deeper from despair to death. That's creepy. I wonder if that's like a quote from anything. Jones's home dates back to 1924, meaning the message could have been written at any time in the past century. So far, her efforts at finding the origins of the meaning behind it have been fruitless. I initially thought it must be song lyrics, but my Google search didn't turn up anything, Jones said. I showed the photo to all my friends and family, who were equally spooked. The lack of answers and the fact that it felt like something out of a horror movie. Jones, suffering from a few sleepless nights, who could sleep 5 feet away from something like that, she said. Jones would be forgiven for thinking something paranormal was at play. While it's not the majority, a significant proportion of Americans do believe in the supernatural world. Earlier this month, a Gallup poll revealed nearly half of U.S. adults, 48%, believe in psychic or spiritual healing. Slightly fewer, 39%, believe in ghosts, while 24% and 29% say that they believe in 6 other supernatural phenomena, including telepathy, communication with the dead, clairvoyance, astrology, reincarnation, and witches.
Wait.
What?
Do you ever see a ghost? They see ghosts?
No, it doesn't say anything about them seeing ghosts.
Okay, never mind.
It's just something creepy written in the back of their closet.
Okay. The same.
Okay. Eager to get answers, Jones took to Reddit, posting a picture of the message under the handle u/vitaminum vitamin u/vitamin mm. I love posting on Reddit. You get such wide range of reactions. My personal favorite are the people who accuse you of staging something like this for upvotes, Jones said. One user described the message as an example of high school teenage angst. Another, meanwhile, shared a memory of doing similar. When I was 12-ish, I distinctly remember writing weird things on the walls of my closet. over the door where they never really be seen, they said. Things like, I will burn this house down, and I hear voices at night. Why? I wanted someone to be scared if they stumbled upon it. We'll have to check if it's still there next time I visit. It turns out that may not be a million miles from the truth of Jones' situation. I talked to our neighbors who have lived next door since the 1970s, and they told me that 3 daughters shared our bedroom, which is a maximum of 100 square feet in the 70s and early 80s, Jones said. Upon further investigation of the closet, there are a number of things written inside. Eileen 84 and I love Gary with Gary crossed out. My ultimate conclusion is that this was the early 1980s emo musings of a teenage girl. Still not the kind of thing you want to find etched into your 100-year-old closet wall, though. Despite the unsettling nature of what was written, Jones has no plans to get rid of the wardrobe. It's a closet, so we're pretty stuck with it, she said. I may wallpaper over it at some point, but I am enjoying the creep factor for the time being. And that is it. Oh, and it has a picture of it.
That can be any scratches.
No, but it says it. It says... Hold on, what it says. It says... Where'd it go? A red river clogs my eyes as I slide down deeper from the despair to death.
I think it is somebody right.
That'd be creepy though. If you like bought a new house and then you go to put your clothes or whatever, and then it's like red rum from The Shining or something. But
yeah.
That is funny. That is crazy. That would be scary if that happened to me.
Yeah, probably I don't want to move on it if it's like that.
What if you don't notice it until after you moved in?
I don't know. I guess I'll stay Bambi. Probably no sleep.
You'd have to like bless the room, get a priest to come over and...
Yeah. I'm a really scared person, so...
Okay, now we have a Reddit story. Strange coincidences after a conversation with a Jehovah's Witness. Okay. Some days ago... Hold on, I want to zoom in, make it easier to read. Some days ago, we were talking with my dad about religion. Both him and I are not religious people, meaning that we are Christians, but we don't believe in the institutions. But we agree on the existence of something bigger than us. But that's not the point. My father is also a very pragmatical person. At a certain point, he started telling us a story. One day, he went to one of his clients' house. This client was a Jehovah's Witness. At the end of his work, she gave him a religious magazine and told him, don't throw it away. He went back home, and some days after, he went to his countryside property and threw the magazine in a pile that he had to burn out. He went back home, and some other days after, he came back to the same countryside property where he was trimming out a tree. He wounded himself badly. He had to go to the hospital, and he couldn't use one of his arms for something like 3 months. That's crazy. He was really scared because this was such a coincidence. So he came back to the countryside once he got out of the hospital and took the magazine back from that pile. Anyway, from the moment he threw out that dang magazine, he started to experience different physical problems. Clearly, a lot is due to his age. He is now over 50, so it's also normal. But he thinks that this can also be connected to the sentence that the woman told him. So now he keeps all the magazines that Jehovah's Witnesses give him. My question is, has someone of you experienced something like that? I don't talk to people on the streets.
Me either.
If people try to give me something, I just keep walking. But yeah, that's crazy. Hurting yourself right after you threw away the magazine is kind of like, I don't know, witchcraft.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I never heard something like that they do or something.
Yep. Or let's read some of the comments from that story. Some people don't know if it's real or not.
You don't think it's mentality that?
Maybe. Like maybe he caused it to happen because he thought something was going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe.
I think so.
Someone says Jehovah's Witnesses are a cult. I was born and raised. I'm sure some of them are cults. I don't know about all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Supernatural, perhaps, but perhaps not. It's in the title. Coincidence. OP,
Yeah.
Tell us you're a Jehovah's Witness without telling us you're a Jehovah's Witness. I roll. And then the OP responded and said, I'm not. I don't think that story, like, it doesn't sound like they're, like, promoting Jehovah's Witnesses. It sounds like they're scared of them.
Yeah.
That's funny, though.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are so accusatory for no reason. Okay. So now we're going to read a spooky story called Orchard. Okay? Let me zoom in so it's easier for me to read. It's from the Reddit thread r/spooky stories. So this is not real, it's just a story. In the village of Brayton, they buried their bones. Not their own, of course. Those were saved for proper burials with some stones and hymns. But the bones of meals, animals, scraps of lamb, the brittle bones taken from their broth, even the shavings from smoked fish, all were buried beneath the orchard. It was traditional there. It was necessary. One of the elders, Eric, would whisper small cautions as he limped through the roads each evening. The dead beasts remember, he would say, always with a musty sack of bones stripped from their corpses slung over his shoulder. If you don't feed them back to the ground, they come back hollow.
What?
Most didn't ask what that meant. Most didn't need to know. Most didn't need to. The apple orchard, with its crooked and twisty trees covered in bark more dull than the gray skies that hovered above, was just enough to remind them. The trees bore fruit every year round, sweet, pale apples that never seemed to rot, even when they fell to the ground. The ground was always soft, even in winter. Something in the dirt was always hungry, waiting for spring to come. The ritual was simple: bury the bones, whisper thanks, and leave without looking back. But of course, not everyone can be mindful of tradition. The newest neighbors of the small village came in from the city. A posh, sharp-looking man, his businesswoman wife, and their son, whom looked like a copy and paste version of his father. The Bramleys his father, the Bramleys. They stated they were looking for a fresh start. Something about simplicity in the farm life sounded so appealing. We just had to buy some land. The obvious Mrs. Bramley had told the locals when they arrived. She acted as though she was the main character in a play. Movements always animated and voice loud, like she was trying to be heard from the back of a cinema that didn't exist. People would try to warn them, speak of the bone orchard, remind them after they ate their early dinner that they needed to take a visit, but they didn't listen. Primitive nonsense, Mr. Bramley scowled, chucking leftovers into a green plastic bin. I'll compost them like a rational man. You can't compost meat, but anyways. The village tolerated them for a while until the family's beloved new goat went missing. Then the expensive cow. Then many chickens. No broken fences, no blood, no mess, nor signs of a fight. Their prim yard seemed untouched. They were astounded each day they woke up to their animals gone. One morning, a row of perfect, deteriorating apple cores were left on the porch, attracting one too many flies rotting. Mr. Bramley opened the door that morning to the wretched sight. He saw Eric out front, sweeping hay off the roads. He immediately blamed him, yet Eric never once raised his voice, nor a hand back at him. You've insulted the orchard, Eric warned. It doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. Mr. Bramley would only laugh at this. What are the trees going to eat? Us? What are the trees going to eat us? Dismissal was all he would give the caution. So Eric left. That night they heard hoof steps. I've never heard hoof steps.
What's that mean?
Like footsteps of a horse.
Oh, okay.
Like hooves. I've never heard that word before. Okay. That night they heard hoof steps. Not normal, however. Not cloven hooves. They scraped across lightly frosted ground, clanking together with each step. Bone. And loudly forcing the small family awake. So the Bramleys peered out the window. The sight they were met with was none other than their old goat, standing in the orchard, not normal, not fleshy, overfed like it used to look. Its skeleton was white and clean beneath the pale moonlight, not a shred of meat on it. Behind it stood the cow, its bones stacked wrong, ribs growing out of the swirled spine and crooked shapes. The chickens scuttled, barely bird-shaped anymore. Could you imagine all your farm animals coming back and their skeletons?
There was a dream or something?
No, this is just a story.
Oh, okay.
The bones began walking towards the house. The Bramleys never screamed, not loud enough for the neighbors to bother at least. In the morning, the house stood empty. No blood, no sign of struggle, just bones. Every scrap of meat stripped laid neatly in the yard. That evening, Eric carried the bones in his sack to the bone orchard. He dug a hole, deep and wide, and fed it the city people. He whispered thanks, and he did not look back. That's a good story.
It is a good story.
I like that story. Okay. All right. Now we have a. Well, what do you think about that story?
It's a good story.
You like it?
Yeah.
Me too. Okay. Now we have a CreepyPasta story.
What? CreepyPasta story? How's that?
CreepyPasta is just it's like a website where people write stories and post them. But this one is on Reddit. It's just r/creepypasta. It's called The Dead Girl. Okay.
What, the Chapelman from the pasta, Dead Girl, something like that?
No, CreepyPasta is just the it's just the website where all the stories are.
Oh, okay.
It's just a website of stories. That's all it is. What's wrong with you?
I don't know.
Okay, well, this one's called The Dead Girl. And no, she's not in the pasta. Okay, hold on. Let me.
She found the pasta or something? That's why they call her Dead Girl there?
Yeah, that's exactly why. Okay, don't you dare tell nobody, Daddy said after he killed Mama. He was so close I could feel his breath against the covers pulled over my head. I was too scared to move, even if the thought had popped into my head to run out and find somebody to tell. I heard them fighting again, and I wished for a moment I could have been back with the Millers, my foster folks, even though Mr. Miller looked at me funny all the time and Mrs. Miller smelled like prunes. But all I had was Daddy now, and I supposed the dead girl they kept in the spare bedroom. I felt Daddy rise off the edge of my bed and leave. The air was just a tad cooler as he was gone. I couldn't see the kitty clock on the wall to read the time without my glasses, but it was forever before I went to sleep, each time creeping to the edge and pulling back awake. Each morning at the table, I could tell Daddy hadn't slept either. He kept blinking and wiping his eyes. I think over stale breakfast cereal. It really hit him that Mama was completely gone. Not just visiting grandmother for the week or playing cards with some of her waitress friends overnight, but all the way gone. He looked confused, shooting his eyes over his shoulder every couple minutes, like something was about to walk into the kitchen, and he twice opened his mouth, half looking at me like he wanted to say something. Finally, he got up and popped his head in the fridge. I looked over at Katie, and she was just sitting at the table. I didn't like her. She stared too much. And whenever she wasn't staring at me, she was staring at something else. She smelled, too. Not dead like the cat found one summer that got caught in our backyard fence and died, but like medicine and chemicals. The lady from Children's Services said that she was supposed to smell that way because of what they had to treat her with. Mama and Daddy weren't supposed to be able to foster no more children. But when the state had started taking in dead people, all of a sudden, Mama and Daddy could again. The only way I was gonna see my foster brother, Rick, again was if he died and came back too. I guess the dead don't count as much. Daddy tried knocking around over the stove with a couple eggs and a freezer bag full of bacon, but he didn't even know how to turn the eyes on. I only got up from the table when I smelled the gas to turn on the stove back off. He slammed the pans down and came over, jabbing a finger at my face.
Wait,
Little.
What is the pasta? What is nothing but pasta? No, keep going. Keep going. I'm listening.
CreepyPasta is just a website. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Like YouTube or TikTok. It's its own thing.
Okay.
Okay. He slammed the pans down and came over, jabbing a finger in my face. Little boy, he said, I ain't the maid. Get your own dang breakfast and get going. I poured myself a bowl of that stale, sugarless cereal, but
What?
But one whiff of the milk when I took the cap off told me it had gone bad. I looked over at Katie, wondering how I was going to ask Daddy about school. He was staring at the basement door and hadn't touched her bowl. She was staring... What? Who was? I looked at Katie, wondering how I was going to ask Daddy about school. Okay. She was staring at the basement door and hadn't touched her bowl. Mama would usually take me when I could wake her up. Are you going to drop us off? What? Daddy shouted. His voice was really loud. He had that look in his eye like he was ready to start hitting. So I stood up and took Katie by the hand, pulling her out of the chair and away from the basement door. Daddy shook his shoulders like something had crawled up his back and into his hair, and he walked out of the kitchen. He didn't like touching anything she touched, and to be honest, it was the only time I could stand to touch her. I hadn't heard him leave, but I was sure he was gone. We walked down the hall hand in hand, past Mama and Daddy's open bedroom door. I left her outside and went in when I saw Mama's purse on the dresser. She always came home with tip money, and sometimes she would give me a couple dollars to buy a lunch. I fished inside and pulled out a fistful of crumpled bills. Before I could stuff them in my pocket, tears I hadn't expected welled up, and I started sobbing. It wasn't that I was gonna miss her. She made for an awful mother. In some ways, worse than Daddy. They fought all the time, and he didn't always win. One morning, all he said was, "I don't see how you can expect me to take you seriously." And Mama just swatted him upside the head with a hot frying pan full of sizzling? I guess, I don't know, bacon grease maybe. I cried because the money in her purse was the last of anything I would have of hers. The toilet flushed, and I stood up and ran out of the room. I grabbed her hand just as Daddy was coming out. He didn't say anything, only pushed past us into their room. He snatched up Mama's purse, dug through it, and tossed it aside. "Figures," he said. He threw on his cap, and as he was walking out of the house, he shouted, "Stay out of the basement." That wasn't a problem. I was scared of it. It wasn't even a real basement. The ceiling was so low, and I had to duck, and the floor was all dirt. Once I poked myself on a nail down there and had to get a tetanus shot. We took a cab to school. My first thought was to skip, but that wouldn't work. Attendance was mandatory for her kind, no exceptions. They didn't get sick. Vacations had to be approved, and the state scheduled doctor's visits. What are you doing? Leave your son alone.
I'm listening to you.
They didn't get sick. Vacations had to be approved, and the state scheduled doctor's visits. If they took her away, then it would be me and him. But then it would only be me and him. That afternoon, I ate tacos while we walked home. What, you listened to the word tacos and you're interested all of a sudden?
Yeah, I'm ready to go eat tacos today.
Whatever. The lady from Children's Services had told us some about where she came from. Her parents had died in a pocket outbreak 9 months before 2 countries over. What's a pocket outbreak?
I don't know.
Is it like a pandemic or something?
I guess.
They'd taken her in for something called reconditioning and told us she could never attack a living human being. The lady never told us if she was the one who killed her parents, but I had my suspicions.
What? Kill his parents?
I have no idea. When she'd brought her, Daddy had made sure to put on his 4 special clothes, same ones as when he come to report his progress to the court before they made me go back home. He slicked back his hair and managed to shave a few hours off his 5 o'clock shadow. The lady had talked a whole lot, and Daddy had nodded a whole lot, saying yes to everything she said. Mama was at the bar working when they brought Katie, but he promised to relay all the lady had told him. Katie had got to the room Mama and Daddy had fixed up for the baby girl. They'd stopped trying for years before. They'd gotten a check every month after she'd come to stay with us. Not that they needed to do much, new clothes every now and then, but that was about it. She didn't eat, but they bought her own bowl, plate, utensils, and cup. With every meal, she was supposed to sit with us while we ate with either her bowl or plate and silverware set out and wood pieces shaped like little pieces of food. The lady had called it part of the resocialization process, as if she would ever start talking or get married or have any kids of her own. All these re's, Daddy said after the lady was gone. Well, I gotta do one too. I got one too. Don't say it, Mama said, slapping his chest. But they'd been good for a little while. Can you leave him alone? They're driving me crazy. It's driving him crazy too. Leave him alone. They'd been good for a little while, at least, while they were a tiny bit afraid. But she really didn't try to eat us. Wait, what? It was kind of nice because they left me alone too. She would sit still and Mama brush her hair. They gave Mama a special brush and told her what? And told her not too much or her hair could come out. Sit quietly while she watched wrestling, and sit quiet and night while we slept, and did a lot of sitting. She sounds like a doll. I wonder if Katie's a doll. Like, she doesn't eat. Her hair can fall out if you brush her hair too much. She sounds like a doll.
No, no, it's a person. Sure. They fell off growth. They fell off your hair when.
But she doesn't eat anything. Like, at all. She has pretend food.
Oh, probably.
Or she's dead.
That can be. Oh, maybe
She's the dead girl.
Maybe. Yeah.
Anyways. I realized sometime before waking up that morning that I had stopped exactly believing what Daddy had done. Mama had spent all night somewhere else before. Nobody ever told me where or why, but after a few days, she usually come back. Maybe Daddy had only wanted to do it. Maybe he said, ow. Maybe he said it because he wanted to think it, even for just a moment. Maybe it was just a weird, roundabout way for him to try to hurt her feelings. But when we got home, I believed again. It was the smell, like that dead cat, but a lot stronger. We didn't have air conditioning, and we had to keep all the windows shut because it wasn't safe where we lived. I locked the door, and by the time I was done opening the living room windows, Katie had gone to the kitchen. But I barely caught up with her as she was staring to scratch the basement doorknob. The dead smell was really strong in the kitchen. I pulled her away and led her back to the living room. Nothing good was on, and I didn't feel like doing homework, so we watched Jeopardy. I drifted off on the couch, and when I woke up, Katie was staring at me. It looked like she was smiling, but she was panting like she was out of breath. She was filthy, though, like she had been rolling around in dirt. But the door was still locked, and I didn't think she could crawl out the window and get back in. I didn't want to, but I took her hand and led her into the bathroom. I wasn't supposed to see her naked and didn't want to, so I cleaned everywhere I could see the dirt with her clothes on. She watched me the whole time, and when I was done, I was dog-tired. She really had it all over. I left her in her room and made it into mine, shutting the door before crawling into bed. Sometime in the night, I heard Daddy come home, go to his room, and drop one boot, then the other. I heard a creak from somewhere down the hall, and then there were other footsteps, slow, uneven ones. Then they got closer until there was a scratch on Daddy's door. Lily? I thought I heard Daddy say, but he never called Mama by her first name. It was the last thing he said, or at least the last thing I understood. There was a loud thump, then scuffing. Daddy started screaming, and I could hear stuff in the room being knocked over, broken. It went on for a good 5 minutes, but it didn't sound like Daddy was winning this time. I listened to what had to be Katie scratching on the doorknob. A long time later, those footsteps lumbered over to my door. A second hand started scratching, and I stayed quiet. pulling the covers over my eyes. I heard another pair of footsteps stumble around in the hall. One of them must have bumped into the light switch because there was a strip of light under my door from the hall. I could see the still shadows on the floor. Mama, Daddy, and Katie were all waiting to take me away.
Your mom will come and get it?
Do you think Katie was a zombie?
Probably.
Because she don't eat food. And I don't know why she was rolling around.
That could be
She was rolling around in the dirt because Mom was dead in the basement. Because Mom was dead, right?
Yeah.
So Mom was in the basement. Then Katie went down to the basement and saw Mom, and then either made her into a zombie, or Mom was a zombie and made Katie into a zombie. And then they fought with Dad and made Dad into a zombie. And then they were like...
They're all zombies.
They're all zombies. That's what I think happened. Somebody said, "It is most definitely time to run away, kid. Far, far away. Most interesting that they allowed your POS father to foster anyone, let alone keep you. I am very sorry for what you're enduring." Does this person think that the story is real? That's crazy. Sizzlian, was this in the 80s or are you? Love that little added bonus. Most people won't even know what that is. Move over, bacon. There's something leaner. Huh. So sizzling's kind of like bacon, I guess. That's what it is.
Okay.
Okay, moving on. Love this, but don't really understand what's going on. Me neither. It's a world where the living have conquered the dead and are trying to rehabilitate the reanimated. They are zombies! That's what it is! Okay. I was right, they're zombies.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a world where the living have conquered the dead and are trying to rehabilitate zombies into real life. So Katie was a zombie.
Yeah.
And Mom was a zombie.
How is a zombie? Zombie have to eat meat, so.
But if you get bitten by a zombie, you turn into a zombie.
Yeah, but you have to eat too. Zombies, they eat too.
But I don't know, maybe these zombies don't. Maybe this is a world where zombies don't eat.
I don't know. I watch a bunch of movies with zombies and they always eat meat. So how?
I don't know. Maybe these zombies don't. Or maybe they eat like animal carcasses or something when nobody's looking. Like they go outside and get like a cat off the street and eat the cat.
Or eat lettuce.
No.
Eat vegetables.
Zombies don't eat vegetables.
See, I told you
Except
that
for Plants vs. Zombies. Have you ever seen that game, Plants vs. Zombies?
No.
It's a cute game from the early 2000s. It's like a computer game where that you're in a garden and you have to like. But anyways, the zombies are trying to like destroy your garden. But anyways, but yeah. So, you want to do another story, or?
I think we're good.
We're only at 40 minutes.
That's perfect, since we need to cut him off to 40 minutes. You don't think so?
I don't know. I think it's too early. Let's try to find a short one.
Yeah, that was a long one.
That was a really long one.
Yeah.
But creepypastas, I feel like, are always pretty long. Okay. The Cross. This is a really short one. It'll be the last one.
Okay.
Okay. The Cross. I have a cross necklace that I like to wear. I was wearing it one day when my sister started yelling, "Take it off!" Take it off. When I asked her why, she said, the lady in the corner really doesn't like it. Oh, like The Conjuring or something. Just then, there was an audible thump from the corner of the room. My sister and I froze. I took it off immediately. To this day, I am still scared to wear the necklace in that room. Oh my gosh. I told you it was a short one.
Mm-hmm.
But that's scary. That's scary. You
think
wear
it
your
was
cross
Eva?
necklace all the time. What if you walked into that room and they started screaming or
Well,
something?
I just let it. I'm not kind of. Well, I mean, this probably she's evil or something.
Yeah, but I don't know. What if they attack you because you're wearing a necklace?
Probably. I was running away, maybe.
You can't run from the supernatural. They'll catch you.
I mean, you can.
They'll catch you,
You think so?
Yeah,
Huh.
I think so.
I don't know.
Think-
I'm not running.
I think we had time for another one. That was too short. Okay. What a weird dream. Okay. I had a weird dream today. I, 26 female, was out in some party / celebration / festival. Suddenly, I thought my period started, so I rushed to the washroom to clean up, where I saw something unusual. Ew. I saw flesh. That's not flesh. Flesh coming out of me, which was
Probably you don't take a shower for a long time, that's why.
flesh. What's flesh? Hold on, I need to Google what flesh is. Probably some nasty period stuff. Flesh. Nope, it's not a word. I don't know what it is. Well, anyways, coming out of me which I know is normal, as the uterus literally sheds during menstruation. It must be like clumpies she's talking about. But this flesh was unusual. It was thicker and thrawny, and blood was more clotted. My next period date is on the 16th of July, so no, it's not near that my subconscious mind will be aware of. I am emotionally drained for a few months, and no, I don't have any social anxiety attending events or something. The more weird thing was I was not able to put on my menstrual cup, and then went to the same party without it, and my periods just stopped. I saw two people in my dream, amongst that unknown crowd, my boyfriend and my mother. It's even weirder to have this dream in the last day of Ambubachi, a time where it is said that ma kama.
You
What?
can read?
No, it's not English. I don't know what it's saying. That kamakaya is who is that? Is menstruating. Moreover, from past 6 to 7 months, I feel weird negativity in my own home. When I am outside, it's all good, but when I come home, I feel choked. Not literally. It was just a dream or something else, I don't know. And then the only comment says, can someone please explain or help me understand? Like, I have no idea what just happened either. I'm gonna Google those words and see if they're real words.
Probably not. Not like. Oh, probably yes, but this different language. Kind of like me. I speak 1, 2, 3 languages.
Wait, how do you do Control C? Is that how you do it?
Mm-hmm.
For copy and paste. And then Control V for paste? Nope. Command. It must be Command. I still don't know how to use this MacBook. The Divine Festival of Kamakia.
We're in the same thing. What is that, Kamakia?
I don't know. Huh. Bubachi Mila roughly translates to spoken with water, referring to both the monsoon and the menstruation of the goddess. The festival celebrates yearly menstruation. Wait, what? So it's a festival about periods? That's crazy.
Shut up. No way. They have
Yeah.
that?
Apparently. Learn something new every day, I guess.
What is that first?
So, Kamakaya is the goddess and symbol of fertility and creative power. So, yes. So they celebrate menstruation. They celebrate periods.
That's crazy.
I didn't know that
before.
existed. That's interesting. Okay. Well, on that note, do you have anything to say?
I think that's crazy. Never heard that before too.
No. I mean, okay.
Uh,
I mean, good luck with that, girly. But, okay, so that is it for today. We will see you all next week. Bye.
bye.